Hello and welcome to a car review. I'm Ciro De Siena and this is an Audi Q3, the brand new one. So here we go, here's the review. This is one of those cars which you might actually buy. You know, it's kind of in the right sort of price range, but I'd like to chat to you about the pricing because, yeah, it's not cheap. So base price for this S Line S-Tronic 35 TFSI model starts at 612,000 Rand. So of course you're not going to be able to walk into a dealership and buy one for 612,000. It will have a lot of spec fitted already. So let's say you're looking at 750, 800 for a Q3. That sounds like a lot of money, but you're almost certainly someone who's in the market who's buying down from say a Q5 or a Q7 or another brand. And then that puts that price into perspective. And then I actually think this Q3 is quite a lot of car for your money. So I've been living with the Q3 for about a month now, and I've really come to like its looks. In fact, I immediately liked its looks. This color is called Turbo Blue. I like that as well, I like the name. And it really does stand out. A lot of people comment on it that they've never seen a blue like it. It really, really works. And this is the new Audi face with the new grille. This was the first car with the Audi face. But I must point out that as good as those LEDs look, they are an optional extra. But you can't, it would look terrible without them. But it is a huge improvement over the previous Q3. That car was very dull. It looked like it had just melted. Like if I had baked a cake, it would look like a Q3, just sort of like bleh, bleh, like a jelly mold. It looked like a jelly mold. It's actually quite challenging as a motoring journalist to constantly come up with new ways to describe how a car handles. So this is pretty much a family car, a nice run around for the city to drop your kids at school, that sort of thing. And if you think about it in those terms, if you frame the handling like that, it's absolutely perfect. It's really comfy, it's really smooth, handles corners decently as well. So if you are in a bit of a hurry, it's not going to fall over. And that's pretty much that. That's just about all you need to know about the handling. So let's move on to the engine. Right now in the Q3 range, you can only choose from one engine. It's a 1.4 litre, 4-cylinder turbo petrol. There's no diesel available. And a new 1.5 litre petrol will be arriving later this year in 2020. But at the moment, yeah, you got one choice. 110 kilowatts, 250 Newton meters, all very boring stats. 0 to 108.9. The stat you probably care about though is the average fuel consumption. 5.8 liters to the 100 is what Audi claims, and it's not very accurate. Currently I'm averaging 8.4, and I like to think I'm quite a light-footed driver. Yeah, I mean it'll get a bit better than that on the open road. I haven't done much highway driving, but yeah, that's pretty much what you're getting. Let's get stuck into the boot because there is a lot to talk about. Now this car has one of the cleverest boot design features I've seen in a long time. So this is a false boot floor, your spare wheel hides under there. But what Audi have done is designed the parcel shelf to come off. And normally, you know, you're at the shops, you've got to put stuff in, you need some extra height. You've got this, what do you do with it? You know, you've got kids in the back, so some people just leave this at home. But Audi have designed it to go under the boot floor. So top tip, these need to come out, but that's pretty straightforward. So you remove that one, it sits on top of the boot floor there, and that fits. It's easier than I'm making it look, I promise. Look at that! I love that. That is really, really smart. In terms of rear seat flexibility, it's a 40-20-40 split. So if you've got, I don't know, a pair of skis or in South Africa, water ski. If you've got a water ski, you just flip the middle one down and there we go. In go your skis. On the side here, there's a 12-volt socket to plug in all your things, your cooling fridge or whatever it is. And then the tow hitch release is over here on the right. But it's sort of semi-manual, so it releases and then you click it in and then you hit the same button again and then it that's pretty comical. And then you've got to click it into place. And another little touch that I really like is the fact that the false boot floor has two little hookies over there. So if you are faffing with your spare wheel, it's not going to keep falling on your head. This is a very clever boot. Nice one, Audi. Now the rear seat flexibility, love that word, is weirdly just not as clever as the boot. It's like they ran out of ideas or they got bored or something. So this is quite cool. You can slide the seats forward in a 40-60 split, so you get more boot space, a little bit less leg room. That's quite smart. But if you're loading stuff from the back of the car and you need to fold the seats down, the only way to do that is to come around the side, open the door and pull on that loop. And that pops your seat down. And that is so inconvenient. Why isn't it up here like on most cars? Or why isn't there a latch in the boot? It's so silly. You're doing so well, Audi. You nailed this boot. But yeah, anyway. Right, welcome to the inside of the car. I have with me the options sheet for this particular test unit. I enjoy going through these. It's fun. I enjoy it. Let's do it together. Okay, here we go. And here's what you have to pay for. Metallic paint. 2,500 Rand. Now, not only Audi does that, every manufacturer does that. It annoys me so much. Like you're gonna buy a Q3 for 800 grand without metallic paint. Anyway, it's such a con. Audi Drive Select, that's your driving modes. Audi Phone Box, so that's the wireless charging pad. So that's 5,500 Rand, but I can confirm it works, which is nice. Audi Presense Basic, no idea what that is. Bang & Olufsen sound for 8,900. The Comfort Key for 7,500. That's so you don't have to take your key out your pocket. That strikes me as a lot. The Comfort Package, which has many things, including your electric tailgates, seat heating, power adjustable front seats, the storage and luggage package. That's 27,500. Interior elements in steel grey Alcantara, 6,450. Well, this is interesting. Headlining in black, no cost. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's like a gift from the Germans. Have some headlining. Lane departure warning, 5.8. Audi headlights, LED headlights, 7.2. You're not going to find a Q3 without LED headlights. You're going to have to pay for that. The panoramic sunroof is nearly 20 grand. Rear view camera, nearly 7. Your roof rails in aluminium, you have to pay for that, 1,400 bucks. The sports contour flat bottomed leather steering wheel with shift paddles, that's 3.3. That feels like good value. Nice steering wheel, that. And here's the big one, the MMI package, which I'll take you through in a bit. That's 33,500. And then for the trailer hitch, which, you know, does the, that's 10,500 Rand. So let's take you through this MMI. Big news here is Audi have ditched the jog wheel and the buttons, which I actually really used to like, and they've gone in favor of a full touchscreen system, angled the cockpit towards the driver so it's much closer to your hand as well. It really is very well designed. It's lovely to use. The resolution on the screen is just beautiful and you get used to it really quickly. I think Audi have nailed this. They really have. One thing at the moment though that Audi doesn't have on the other manufacturers in South Africa is all the data services like we saw in the 1 Series. You don't have that in here. It is technically capable of it, but Audi doesn't offer the service in South Africa. It should be coming later this year. So if you want an Audi concierge, you're going to have to wait a little bit. Overall though, cracking interior. Typical Audi, build quality is superb. Material quality is superb. This is a really great interior, and I think compared to its rivals, I think it's the best of the bunch. I do. I like it. I like it a lot. On the topic of the gearbox, it's quite interesting that we have a brand new car here with a dual clutch. Don't worry about all the technical aspects of that. It's very boring. But what it means in practice is that the gearing only engages when you give it a little bit of throttle. So it doesn't have that creep effect like you would get in a traditional automatic. And that is a little bit strange to get used to. And where you feel it the most is when you're reverse parking, particularly on a hill. So you put it in reverse and then you take your foot off the brake, you move over to the accelerator, and in that little gap of time, you actually roll. it's a little bit disconcerting. And it's not just Audis that do this. All cars with automated dual clutch gearboxes do this. So just be aware of that when you're parking, you have to be careful of rolling, especially if you're parallel parking on a downhill or an uphill or something like that. And if you want to overtake, you have to wait a moment or two for the engine to kick down a few gears. But what I really like about Audi and Volkswagen products is that you can sort that out really easily. You just flick the gearbox down like that and it puts it into sport mode. And now it gives you the ideal gear for sort of more spirited, more enthusiastic driving. You get a much more immediate throttle response and the car becomes a lot more interesting to drive. It's really, really cool. And most modern cars have this, not exclusive to Audi. And it is a driving tip that you can pretty much apply to most new cars, no matter what brand you're buying into. But then this actually becomes quite fun. Whee! So we've got all the practicality issues out of the way. You probably want some sort of conclusion from me. You probably want to hear about this car's rivals. So let's look at cars from Mercedes-Benz and from BMW. And right now, Mercedes-Benz actually doesn't sell a rival to this car, a direct rival to this car in South Africa. However, it is on the way. It's been revealed. It's called the GLB. So keep an eye on the market for that one. But if you want something from BMW, you've got to be looking at the X1. So which one would I have, the Q3 or the X1? Well, I've been living with this Q3 for a few weeks now, and I have driven the X1 quite a lot. Oh, this is really tough, but I think I'd have the Q3. I prefer the interior design. I prefer the infotainment system. I think I prefer the suspension in the Q3. I love the practicality of the boot in the Q3. And I think this is where my money would go. Ta-da! Okay, end of video.
Did you know that we also sell really awesome car-themed merchandise? Check out our range of custom t-shirts and prints at our online store now. Simply click on the square box on your screen and we'll take you there, or the link is in the description below. Thanks for watching.